The Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross, Book 2, Chapter 21, which explains the word disguised and describes the colors of the disguise of the soul in this night. Now that we have explained the reasons why the soul called this contemplation a secret ladder, it remains for us to explain likewise the word disguised, and the reason why the soul says also that it went forth by this secret ladder in disguise. For the understanding of this, it must be known that to disguise oneself is nothing else but to hide and cover oneself beneath another garb and figure than one's own, sometimes in order to show forth under that garb or figure the will and purpose which is in the heart to gain the grace and will of one who is greatly loved, sometimes again to hide oneself from one's rivals, and thus to accomplish one's object better. At such times a man assumes the garments and livery which best represent and indicate the affections of his heart, and which best conceal him from his rivals. The soul, then, touched with the love of Christ the Spouse, and longing to attain to his grace and gain his goodwill, goes forth here disguised with that disguise which most vividly represents the affections of its spirit, and which will protect it most securely on its journey from its adversaries and enemies, which are the devil, the world, and the flesh. Thus the livery which it wears is of three chief colors, white, green, and purple, denoting the three theological virtues, faith, hope, and charity. By these the soul will not only gain the grace and goodwill of the Beloved, but it will travel in security and complete protection from its three enemies. For faith is an inward tunic of a whiteness so pure that it completely dazzles the eyes of the understanding. And thus, when the soul journeys in its vestment of faith, the devil can neither see it nor succeed in harming it, since it is well protected by faith, more so than by all the other virtues, against the devil, who is at once the strongest and the most cunning of enemies. It is clear that St. Peter could find no better protection than faith to save him from the devil, when he said, Cui resistite fortes in fide, whom, strong in faith, you resist. And in order to gain the grace of the Beloved and union with him, the soul cannot put on a better vest and tunic to serve as a foundation and beginning of the other vestments of the virtues than this white garment of faith. For without it, as the Apostle says, it is impossible to please God, and with it is impossible to fail to please him. For God himself says through a prophet, Sponsabo te mihi in fide, and I will espouse thee to me in faith, which is as much as to say, if you desire, O soul, to be united and betrothed to me, you must come inwardly clad in faith. This white garment of faith was worn by the soul on its going forth from this dark night, when walking in interior constraint and darkness, as we have said before, it received no aid, in the form of light, from its understanding, neither from above, since heaven seemed to be closed to it and God hidden from it, nor from below, since those that taught it satisfied it not. It suffered with constancy and persevered, passing through those trials without fainting or failing the Beloved, who in trials and tribulations proves the faith of his bride, so that afterwards she may truly repeat this saying of David, namely, By the words of your lips I kept hard ways. Next, over this white tunic of faith, the soul now puts on the second color, which is a green vestment. By this, as we said, is signified the virtue of hope, wherewith, as in the first case, the soul is delivered and protected from the second enemy, which is the world, for this green color of living hope in God gives the soul such ardor and courage and aspiration to the things of eternal life,